already know the rules. You can read and write in English, but when you speak, it still doesn't sound the way you imagine it in your head. If you ever thought, I wish I could sound more like a native speaker, this video is for you. I am not a native speaker. I was born and raised in Russia and I moved to the US at the age of 25. So the way I sound is the result of my work. Of course, California influences the way I talk. I'm going to share that secret code of American English that not a lot of people talk about. And it's not just about pronunciation. And make sure to watch until the end because I'll share one technique that you almost never see in textbooks or English classes, but it makes a huge difference in how natural you sound. And I learned this technique through being a YouTuber in English. Before we start, let me know what's one thing about American English that still confuses you the most. Is it grammar? Is it slang? Is it pronunciation? Or is it speaking? Let me know in the comments and maybe I'll make the next video about that. So here's something that completely blew my mind when I first discovered it. American English is literally like music. Think about it. When you listen to your favorite song, you don't just hear words, you hear melody, rhythm, and emotion all wrapped together, and words are kind of wrapped together. That's exactly what's happening when Americans speak. Native speakers don't just say words, they sing them with specific patterns. And once I cracked the code by listening to other YouTubers, by listening to Americans, it changed a lot for me. I feel like my language just evolved and progressed to the next level. Let me break down 3 basic intonation patterns that will make you sound so much more American. First of all, rising intonation. This is your question voice, but here's the trick. Americans also use it when they're excited. Oh my God, you got the job? That upward melody shows genuine excitement.
I got the job.
Then you have falling intonation. This shows completion and confidence. When Americans make statements, they go down at the end. I'm from California. Strong, confident, done.
The entire city looks like Ratatouille.
Flat intonation. And this is where a lot of non-native speakers get stuck. If everything sounds flat, Americans think you're bored or uninterested. They don't even hear the question if it's flat. Like sometimes I say something in a flat intonation and it's a question and they don't react because they didn't realize it was a question. So make sure you use intonations when you speak. The next thing we're going to talk about is intonation. Because the way you shape your voice can completely flip the meaning of the same sentence. Remember how Americans didn't really get that I was asking them something if I didn't use the question intonation? And here's where it really gets interesting. There aren't just 2 or 3 kinds of intonation. In real life, there are dozens of shades, and the same sentence can carry completely different meanings depending on how you say it. Take this one. My boss wants to see me. My boss wants to see me sounds like I'm anxious, maybe in trouble. My boss wants to see me. Now it feels like I'm about to get good news, maybe even a promotion. My boss wants to see me. Same words, but now it feels like I'm frustrated or tired of my boss. My boss wants to see me? This time it shows shock, like I didn't expect it at all. Why me?
And now my boss wants to see me Friday at 5 o'clock.
The boss wants to see you.
Really? Dad wants to see me?
This is what I call emotional authenticity. And it's huge in American culture. Your intonation doesn't just deliver words, it delivers the emotion behind them. And Americans are very emotional. You know how sometimes Americans sound like they're speaking super fast and you can barely catch individual words? That's because they're not saying individual words. They're linking everything together into one fluid sound. Almost. Instead of, do you want to eat? Americans actually say, do you want to eat? It's like the words are melting into each other.
Do you want to eat?
No.
I'm not going to bore you with all the technical stuff, but here are the most important ones you need to know. I don't know becomes I don't know.
I don't know.
Going to becomes gonna.
I'm gonna stop trying to make you laugh.
And of course, you don't have to do that. Both are grammatically correct. It's just you're going to sound more natural. Want to becomes wanna.
You want to do this?
I want to do this.
Have to becomes have to.
I have to go. I have to go.
And this isn't sloppy speech. This is proper American English. I remember taking a class with an accent coach who's from Hollywood and she's amazing. And she said, Marina, you still sometimes say going to. No, gonna. That's the right way to say it. And when she said it, I was like, wait, so all these years I was trying to pronounce every word perfectly and I was actually sounding more foreign. Try this with me. Instead of saying each word separately, blend them together. What do you want to do becomes what do you want to do?
What do you want to do first?
And here's the cool part. This linking happens in lots of little ways. If two words both have the same sound, Americans don't repeat it. They just stretch it. And that was one of my mistakes. Like we spent, I think, 2 classes fixing that. So instead of what time, you'll hear what time. Same with bad dog. It's bad dog. Or gas station, gas station. Or when one word ends in a consonant and the next starts with a vowel, the sounds stick together. An apple becomes an apple. And sometimes the sound even shifts a bit, like that orange turning into that orange, right? It's T versus D. That's why native English sounds so fast and smooth. It's all these little connections happening all the time. Now let's talk about pauses. So yes, Americans connect words and it feels quick, but it doesn't mean they rush through everything. And that was another mistake we're working on. My coach was like, Marina, stop rushing. Like you actually sound more foreign when you rush things. So I'm learning to slow down, but that's my character. Like that is what I do all the time. I rush. My daughter, I think it was yesterday, she asked me, Mom, why are you always rushing? Why are you always running around? I don't know. That's me. I'm trying to slow down. And what actually makes you sound more natural is the balance. Fast linking mixed with short, powerful phrases. And again, I thought that talking quickly was what fluency actually was. No pauses, no breaks. But that's not how Americans actually speak. Because of linking words, it can sound like they're speaking super fast. But if you listen closely, you'll notice something else. They also use pauses. Not awkward silence, but short, powerful pauses that make their message stronger. Here's an example. I have something to tell you. I got into Stanford. That pause builds suspense and makes the news feel bigger. Another one. Guess what? You passed the exam. The pause adds drama and excitement. Or even in serious moments, I need to be honest with you. This project isn't working. The pause prepares the listener for something important. Americans use these pauses on purpose. They help you sound more confident, more natural, and they make people really listen to your words. All right, back to the fun part. Another thing that American English has is stress-timed rhythm. Basically, it means there's equal time between the important words, regardless of how many small words are in between. So, I'm tired takes almost the same time as I'm really very tired.
No, I'm just tired. I'm actually just really tired.
Americans just speed up the less important words to keep the steady beat going. This is why when you're speaking English, you want to think of it like drum beats. Stressed syllables are your strong beats and unstressed ones are just filler. Let's talk about exaggeration. This one is hard for me as a Russian because we're naturally more reserved, but Americans love to amplify everything. If something is good, it's not just good, it's amazing, awesome, incredible, or fantastic. And if you say something is fine or interesting, Americans might think you actually hate it. So if an American asks you whether you like their new haircut, and you reply, it's nice, they might see it as diplomatic criticism. So from now on, amp up your positive responses. Instead of good, try that's awesome. Instead of okay, try sounds great.
It's incredible.
You look awesome.
It might feel over the top at first, but this is just how Americans communicate enthusiasm and positivity. Also pay attention to body language. I learned it from my career. And here's something that might surprise you. Sounding American isn't just about your voice, it's about your whole body. And this is actually really important to understand because body language varies so much across different cultures. What's considered confident and friendly in America might come across as rude and aggressive in other cultures, and also vice versa. Like shaking hands. Americans always shake hands with women. When I try to shake hands in other countries, sometimes women look at me like that, like, why are you shaking my hand? Americans have a very specific way of using body language that supports their speech patterns, and it's completely different from what I grew up with in Russia. Direct eye contact shows confidence and engagement. Open posture with uncrossed arms signals approachability. And Americans gesture with their hands while they talk. Not too much, but just enough to emphasize their points. My first videos were a lot more reserved. I was focusing on my pronunciation and intonation, but now I know that it's all about pauses, how I use my hands, my posture, my overall vibe. So the key is understanding that different situations call for different levels of formality, and casual conversations allow for more relaxed postures and animated gestures, while professional settings require more controlled and purposeful movements. Anyways, I hope this video helped you understand that sounding like a native speaker isn't just about perfect grammar or a huge vocabulary. It's about mastering the music, the rhythm, and the emotional expression of the language. If you found this video helpful, please give it